a lot of people talk about AI and don't understand what AI is about. AI is not just a technology. AI is a new mindset.
I'm Maneet Ahuja, editor-at-large at Forbes and founder of Iconoclast, and it's a pleasure to be joined now by Richard Attias here at the NASDAQ market site.
Thank you for having me, Maneet.
Richard, thank you for joining us. Richard is a whisperer to world leaders. Over the course of nearly 4 decades, you've become a trusted advisor to heads of state, business executives, and civic leaders looking to build, influence, and affect change. Today, you're chairman of the executive committee of the FII Institute, a global nonprofit foundation with a single pressing mission to bring investors, innovators, and policymakers together to affect positive impact on humanity. Richard, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for your kind words.
You're also acting CEO of the FII Institute, I should add. Yeah. So Richard, the big news in the journalism and reporter set was this past February, you pulled off a nearly impossible feat. You orchestrated what reporters at the time called the hottest ticket in town, correct me if I'm wrong, when you convinced President Trump, merely 4 weeks into the second term of his presidency, to address global business community at FII Miami on the eve of his first major policy trip. How exactly did you pull this off?
To be honest, it was not only my achievement. It was something that we did also with His Excellency Yasser Umayyan, my chairman, and also the governor of PIF, the Sovereign Wealth Fund of Saudi Arabia. And in fact, in December, as soon as the president was re-elected, we thought that it would be an amazing opportunity for the president to address a community of business leaders. We saw his program, America First, Invest in America. And I think it was important for the international community, which is our community, world leaders, private sectors, to understand the president's agenda. So we just talked to him and we said, Mr. President, it will be an amazing opportunity for you in the United States of America, in Miami, in Florida, to come and to address this community, because our value proposition is very simple. Number one, we are not a political organization, so we have no agenda, no political agenda. Number two, it's a good timing, just almost few weeks after the inauguration, and you will do a lot of things on foreign policy for sure, but we need to give you also an opportunity to talk about business. We know how President Trump is very transactional. For him, business is important. And it was just at the beginning of this tariff war, we'll call it.
Speaking of that,
he understood the opportunity. He was supposed to spend 20 minutes. He spent almost 90 minutes.
Right.
And what was great, he accepted to take few questions. And the deal we had is, I don't want to talk about any political agenda. I want to know much better who is President Trump as a person. What do you want your legacy to be? What are your wishes, your dreams, your best moment, the best advice you got in your life? And he was very happy to play this game, and I think it was a great moment.
That's so illuminating. And as you were saying, he spent 90 minutes speaking to the FII community about how the United States is back in business and America's golden age has begun. Did you know at the time that that was going to be the thrust of the conversation?
No, we didn't talk at all about what he will say. He had full freedom of, I would say, speech. But he used that opportunity also to remind the great relationship between United States and the Middle East. And it was not again in our agenda. It's not because the FII Institute was born in Saudi Arabia that we had this agenda, not at all. We are hosting and curating global conversations, as you do. And he spoke very highly about how the Middle East, the GCC, Saudi Arabia will play a particular role in the global conversations on every topic. And as you can see today, this part of the world is also very active on AI, on technology. And I think he liked the FII Institute as a platform and the FII conference because it's really a bridge between technology, between business, between, I would say, geopolitical and geoeconomics topics. So it was a great moment. And the speech he had was really for him to explain more what he discovered when he went back to the office. So he had free time, no limit, and I think he was very comfortable. And when I asked him a question about, Mr. President, if you have a dinner tonight, last minute dinner, who will be your guests? Tell me who will be your guest of people who are leaving today. He told me they are here in the room. And he mentioned few leaders who were sitting on the first row, and probably because he enjoyed talking to them, and he has good connections with these people. You know, he was not mentioning, I would like to be with an actor, I would like to be with a Nobel Prize, I would like to be with another, I would say, inspired. No, he is very much inspired by this community.
And speaking of that, it was one huge feat to get the president there just 4 weeks into the administration. It was another one altogether to get that elite roster in the room. Now, I know I'm also planning a conference for Forbes. I don't have as much experience as you for decades, but I have a little bit. And just getting one of these individuals is like a year-long achievement. It takes a lot of back and forth. You had Elon Musk, Eric Schmidt, Safra Catz of Oracle, Robert Smith of Vesta, Nir Barday, CEO of Bridgewater, just to name a few. Did these individuals know that President Trump was going to be in attendance, or was it a big surprise to the entire audience, as it was when I was reading the news and saw him there?
We kept the information very confidential. These great names, in total humility, are really our members, our community. They follow us, they are loyal to us. We are very proud to call them our friends. And each time we organize for years conferences, and of course FII for now in few weeks, the 9th edition, all the people you have mentioned will come again. So they are following us, and they are probably following us because our conversations are probably very deep. I have to really be proud of the content and the program, as you do, not to flatter you, on conversation. You know, these people don't have time to lose.
Right.
And they don't need conferences to network.
Right.
They can pick their phone.
Quite the opposite.
And everyone will come to them. They are even overwhelmed by meetings and meetings requests. They come to these conversations because they feel that they learn, that they have a better understanding about what's going on. The way we curate our conversations are sometimes provocative, which is important, no taboo, total transparency, and they see real outcomes and solutions. And all these people, they want to be part of the solution. The world is facing many challenges, as you know, and we need to fix that by dialogues. So our platforms are really curated dialogues where everyone can raise a voice. Some conversations are happening Chatham House rules, and they love that.
In closed door sessions.
In closed door sessions. It's not a zoo, it's not a mess. It's well organized, and they have a good return of investment over time, because time is money for these people.
Right, and so I want to take a step back, because you have, as we mentioned, nearly 4 decades of experience in this business. You co-founded the Clinton Global Initiative, Nobel Laureates Institute and conferences, and many, many more accomplishments. But tell me, you helped create FII to fill a vacuum in the global investor dialogue, and you mentioned these FII key priorities, which we see a lot in the news and focused in on your agendas. Which specific gaps do you see that remain, and how is FII 9 designed to address those?
You know, the DNA of FII was born thanks to His Royal Highness the Crown Prince of Saudi Arabia. He was Deputy Crown Prince, he was 27 years old.
MBS, right?
MBS, and we met in Riyadh because he had an idea of creating a platform to support the Sovereign Wealth Fund, PIF, of Saudi Arabia growth and expansion. And I will always remember his value proposition. Richard helped me to create something where people, where investors will come to understand where to put their money in terms of geographies and sectors. This is a value proposition of FII, and this was a vacuum.
Interesting, so it's not specific to opportunities in Saudi Arabia?
Absolutely not. And by the way, I want to insist on that point, thank you. He told me this is not about Saudi Arabia, this is not about self-propaganda, this is not about promotion of Saudi Arabia. We need, in Riyadh, to become a hub. And Riyadh is a hub now. If you look at the global map, the world map, Riyadh is Arabic Peninsula is really at the barycenter of the world. And this is why we became a great connector, north, south, east, west. It's really a fantastic hub. Point number one. Point number two, 90% of our topics are not related to Saudi Arabia. But why we are talking more and more about Saudi Arabia? Because Saudi Arabia is becoming a very hot destination. And what is happening in Saudi Arabia today is an amazing transformation. It reminds me what happened in China 25 years ago when the country started to transform itself. The biggest infrastructure projects in the world are happening in Saudi Arabia now. The Expo 2030 will be in 5 years in Saudi Arabia. The World Cup 2034. So there is a momentum in this country, which even if you don't want to talk about Saudi Arabia, you have to talk about it.
Right.
Or you will ignore one very important dimension on business opportunities today. Vision 2030, this amazing roadmap, which I wish each world leader should have. Each world leader should have a roadmap, vision, something. Why? Because it is helping the citizen to understand where the ship is going and where the captain of the ship wants to bring the ship. You know, I am by background an engineer, so I like when things are very well structured. I need to know my direction. I need to know where my compass direction is. And this is what Vision 2030 is about. And Vision 2030 is to try to create a full holistic ecosystem where all sectors will be existing in the kingdom beyond the oil. And this is why you see entertainment, sport, tourism, food security, aviation, mining. What was achieved in the past 6-7 years is amazing. And it is just the beginning of a transformation of a country, which you can see is happening now in what I'm calling the new economy or new emerging countries. You see that in many more countries, coming all mainly from the global south. I wish Europe, a continent where I spent 25 years of my life, will have a vision for helping the citizen, the European, to understand where the continent is going.
Looking at where we are in the geopolitical landscape currently and increasing tensions, you have a very unique lens into the world through your access and your position, intimately spending so much time with all of these world leaders and business leaders. What would be your guidance? What are your keys to prosperity for the individuals that you are fortunate enough to spend time advising?
Thank you for asking, because this is a question very important to my heart. I think we all have a mission. You have a mission as a great journalist, which is to inform people, to share knowledge, to give access to information. This is an amazing power. My mission today is humbly to also impact humanity and to use my network, to use our connections, to see how we can reestablish trust, dialogues between citizens and leaders, because these two words are totally disconnected. So this is why we launched a few years ago a huge report called the FII Priority Index. In fact, it's a report. It's a major global survey that we do worldwide to understand what are the priorities of the citizen. And I'm mentioning that because just after COVID, I had the feeling that the priorities of the citizen have changed a lot. I'm sure that your priorities after COVID were not the same that you had before. Because this COVID was an electroshock about what is important in our lives. The first report, when it was issued a few years ago, it was not about climate change. It was not about all the topics that world leaders were putting as priorities. It was already about cost of living, immigration, security, healthcare. And then when I shared this report with some world leaders, sorry to say, many of them were ignoring the result of this report. And look what is happening today. And we ask another question. What will happen if you are not heard about these priorities? They said social revolution.
Right. And
I just saw that happening.
Right. I just sat with Ray Dalio on Friday here at the NASDAQ. And this is part of the thesis of his book, Why Countries Go Broke, and how countries operate, and this social revolt that could be brewing if we don't address these very serious
100%.
Economic issues.
And this is why, back to your point, we decided that for FII 9, we need absolutely to express a wish. And the wish is what? All of us, we need to have a little bit of prosperity. So what do we have to do to have access to prosperity? prosperity for all, even if it's a wish, a dream. Let's make it as a goal for our humanity, you know, like the SDGs, which were born under Ban Ki-moon at the UN, and it was a great roadmap. So everyone wants to have a piece of prosperity and not to see this fractured world.
So it sounds like, if I'm hearing correctly, it's about actionable solutions and putting those solutions and proposals into practice. And that is a key differentiator of the work that you're doing, correct?
Absolutely. We need to have our own roadmaps, and we need to create the vehicles to implement. You know, there is a big difference between having a vision and executing the vision. And I think this is what is important. You know, 4 years ago, the main theme of FII was about the new world order. We knew that we were redesigning a new world order. Then, when people started to agree that we are facing a new world order, we say, okay, guys, let's build and design a new compass. Let's have a new compass to see how to navigate. It was done, and people understood where the wind was blowing for investment in terms of sectors and in terms of geographies, back to the DNA created by His Royal Highness the Crown Prince. And then after we say, okay, guys, now that you have a new compass, let's explore the new horizons. There are infinite horizons opportunities, not just AI. You have so many opportunities on biotech, on vaccines. There are many niches where people can be successful, create jobs. You will lose some jobs in some industry.
Right.
Let's create jobs somewhere else. You know what I mean? And today, thanks to a new compass, thanks to the understanding of the new horizons and new opportunities, we would like people to unlock these keys to prosperity. It's possible.
So we're just about out of time, but I have a couple of last key questions that I
Please.
want to make sure that we address. So AI is a very hot topic. I'll be talking about it on stage tomorrow at our women's conference with the Dean of Wharton, Erica James, and AI world experts. And so I want to know from you, what do you see, because that is one of the key priorities of the FII agenda, and has been, I think, for consistently from the beginning, right? So what do you see as the most urgent AI opportunity?
First of all, still a lot of people talk about AI and don't understand what AI is about. AI is not just a technology. AI is a new mindset. AI is a new trend. AI is a new language. AI will be part of our day-to-day life and businesses. So what is important and what I see moving forward is a lot of new opportunities of using AI, which is just the combination of collecting data and using this data thanks to great algorithm to come with applications. So now what are the applications? This is a reality of AI. Where AI would have an impact. AI will have an impact everywhere. So let's now go one by one. So let's have a big impact on healthcare. The way that we can revolutionize healthcare, accelerate the production of vaccines, have a better diagnostic for people, do remote I would say medicine. This will be done thanks to AI. How can we accelerate the process of logistics, make deliveries more easy, use mobility, electric vehicles, drive without drivers, thanks to AI. We can use AI for mining to explore more and better in a sustainable way the planet Earth, to find minerals which are absolutely indispensable for our life and our industry. So I think it's about definitely how AI will be used in applications. This is the most important. But what I see now as a trend, and you will see probably tomorrow in your conference, and if you come to FI, we'll be happy to have you. Everyone is talking now about data center, because this is the key for AI. You need to have data centers which will collect data, and the problem is that data centers are using a lot of energy, so we need to find cheap, low-cost energy to operate these data centers all over the world, because without data, you don't have data centers. Without data centers, you don't have AI. So this is why it's the chicken and the egg, and today you see many investors who are now looking at data centers, renewable energy, because this will help the AI industry to grow and to use also new computers, big quantum computers, etc. So we are really in the middle or the beginning of a huge transformation.
Richard, I want to thank you so much because, like you, I get an opportunity to interview so many world leaders and business leaders and executives, but you've given us some actionable silver lining in terms of an opportunity that people can go back and take away and integrate into their own companies and how they think about the future and how to stay nimble as we head into this new world order. So Richard Attias, Chairman and CEO of FII Institute, thank you so much for joining us. I'm Maneet Ahuja, Editor-at-Large at Forbes at the NASDAQ market site.